Andrew, I could not be any more excited to interview our next two guests. These ladies are American heroes up there in the great state of Michigan.
Yeah, they freed Michigan.
And, the governor of Michigan, Governor Whitmer, is very witch-like as she's been implementing these unconstitutional mandates on her people. And these two ladies, Tammy Clark and Kristen Meghan, decided that they are going to stand up and fight for their rights. They recognize that freedom is not free. And they are fighting back against all these unconstitutional mandates, and they are gaining momentum and traction. They actually gained 500,000 signatures to repeal these mandates. And I find them both to be mind-blowing. Andrew, get ready.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top. Teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm a dive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the C&Z up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, and
Yes, 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 and yes, Thrive Nation. It is a very special occasion because on today's show, we are interviewing two American heroes. We have Tammy Clark, the executive director with Stand Up Michigan, and Kristen Meghan, the senior industrial hygienist and a health freedom activist and a media correspondent. And on today's show, we are joined here, Jerome, because you know this, Jerome. You're an IT consultant, but you're an entrepreneur. You're on the show. You know this. We are passionate on the Thrive Time Show of encouraging our listeners to let them know that they have a choice and they have a voice. But freedom's not free. We got to fight. I mean, Jerome, you've been posting on social media. You've been showing up at the mask mandate rallies. I mean, you've been doing what you can do.
Yep.
What encouragement would you have for all the listeners out there, Jerome, who are thinking about standing up for their rights, but they're a little bit scared? What would you say?
Oh, you got to show up. You got to vote. Vote in person, please. Everyone.
Vote. Okay.
And do it the Democratic way, early and often.
Tammy Clark, welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, ma'am?
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm great.
Now, how did you meet this Kristen fellow here, Kristen Meghan? Kristen, welcome on to the show. How did you two meet?
Well, it's interesting because I actually took the position as executive director with Stand Up Michigan because my business was shut down, and I was actually very angry about that. I am an environmental health, safety, and compliance consultant. I'm an OSHA credentialed and OSHA trained safety, health, and compliance, like I said, specialist basically, and I own my own company. My business was shut down, and I was actually really angry about that. So I started following a group that at the time was called Michiganders Against Excessive Quarantine. We grew to about 400,000 within a week, and then Facebook shut us down.
Wow.
So we had to regroup, and we rebranded as Stand Up Michigan. And I started following the group, and I was very upset about what was going on in Michigan. And so when the mask mandate started, that's where I got really vocal, because my background is in PPE, in respiratory protection. I am a court-approved subject matter expert in these areas. And so I started standing up, and that's how I met Kristen, because I found her, I think, on Facebook, because you were...
Yeah, I think I was doing a local interview on the radio, and I think it was...
Oh, that's right, yes.
Yeah, and she commented, like, there's another one of me speaking out about this, and then...
Yes, thank God. And I actually complimented her. Thank you so much for standing up, because there were, especially at that time, very few professionals, credentialed professionals who understood PPE and respirators and face masks and all of that. And so there were very few, there was nobody within OSHA that was standing up. In fact, OSHA's doing exactly the opposite. So when I saw Kristen's interview and her post, I had to reach out to her and complimented her and thanked her. And the rest is history.
Well,
Yes.
Tammy,
Now
give
we
us
travel around.
Yeah, well,
saving lives.
tell me some
And
wins
freedom.
here. Tammy, you got to give me some wins. Give me some encouragement. I'm going to assume of our 500,000 listeners, many of them are unaware of the traction that you've been able to gain and some of the wins. Give us some wins. We need some positive wins. Well, what kind of traction have you been able to achieve?
Yes. So I am all about positivity. And the Stand Up Michigan movement really was born out of a desire to give people an opportunity to connect at a time when we were all being told we could not leave our homes. We would be fined if we left our homes. We could not connect. We could not socialize. We couldn't even visit our families. And so Stand Up Michigan was actually born out of a desire to provide a platform for people to just connect with each other, share their stories, and that connection really exploded among the citizenry in Michigan. And so then we realized very quickly that we needed to give people an opportunity to be educated and informed about what was going on in the legislature and things like that. And then I myself, as a PPE professional and a health, safety, and compliance professional, started really speaking up about the mask mandates, educating people. I pulled Kristen into some of that. We've done a lot of trainings and education together. And then we, our other platform or our other pillar is to activate people. So we activated the citizenry, hundreds of thousands of people, to get involved, to sign a petition that would repeal an old law that Gretch is using to keep us locked down. And really her goal was to keep us locked down indefinitely. That was the goal.
Unbelievable.
And so we needed, I think, 342,000 signatures collected within 180 days, and we got 539,000 and some 37 something within just over 70 days. So the momentum in Michigan is unbelievable, but because we were able to unite people and give them an opportunity to do something about it, the citizens in Michigan have stood up like nowhere else across the country. And we have made history, not only in Michigan, but in the United States. And this was the fastest petition start ever in the history of our country. And so we have really made some remarkable gains.
Now, so are you, have the mandates been lifted in Michigan, or give us kind of an update of what's going on in the ground or on the ground?
Well, I can answer that one.
Sure.
So last month, our state Supreme Court shot down our governor's executive orders, and any order that had been issued after April 30th
beautiful.
would be unconstitutional.
Yes. One
Now,
second. I'm so sorry. We're not worthy. Yes. Thank you so much. Continue. I'm fired up.
No, so the irony of that was we were traveling together in our car down to Austin, Texas to speak at a summit down there with the frontline doctors. And we got the news about the Supreme Court ruling. So on our way down to Texas, we were elated. Well, fast forward to that following Monday. That was a Friday. We were sad coming home, pardon me, because she did the same thing. She is doing the exact same thing that she was doing by weaponizing our Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, who have basically married and copied her exact orders and tried to use a different avenue because they're her subordinates. And we're waiting for challenges to come out saying that, well, we know it's illegal, but sometimes you need a higher court to say so, because the Supreme Court said you cannot have different branches of government take over the roles of other parts of government. And that's exactly what the Department of Health and Human Services is doing in our state.
Correct.
They're pushing an unsafe mask mandate. And right now it's really strong-armed all the businesses and the schools. And even our state MIOSHA has come out and put through now guidances and guidelines that they have to follow or face fines or be shut down. I mean, we celebrated the tyranny from one tyrant, and now we're dealing with the overreach from our health departments.
Now, I want to make sure that all the listeners firmly grasp what I'm saying. And I grew up in Oklahoma. I then moved to Minnesota, where I was raised from age 12 to 18 or so. And what I found was in Minnesota, at least where I lived, a lot of very conservative people in terms of their values and their constitutional values, people that are very conservative, tended to vote Democrat because of the subsidies. I don't think people recognize this, but the farming industry in Minnesota is massive, and there's a lot of subsidies that are coming from the Democrat Party. And so you would never see, I mean, I think the last time a Republican presidential candidate won the great state of Minnesota was like 1984. I mean, it's been forever. And I saw recently where 12 Democrat mayors have come out in favor of President Trump. 12 Democrat mayors from Minnesota have come out in favor of President Trump. I'm hearing from people, my friends and family that live there, that the state is flipping red. What are you hearing in Michigan? Are you seeing a big support for President Trump, or what are you seeing?
Yeah, well, let's talk about the rallies. So we have had President Trump and his campaign team are definitely focusing on Michigan. We are a swing state. We are probably one of the most purple states in the country. And his team is very focused on Michigan. In fact, if you listen, when he's in Michigan, he uses our own language. He says, We are standing up for Michigan. And so that's very exciting because clearly he is very aware of Stand Up Michigan and what we have done and what we have accomplished. And he uses our own language when he's in our state. But if you look at the rallies, he was just in Muskegon on Saturday. There was probably 15,000 people at the airport. And outside of the fence, there was probably another 20,000. And I know this because I had students, former students of mine at Fair State University were texting me their videos and their pictures from in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is packed. These people are shoulder to shoulder. They are so excited. The energy, it is just unlike anything you've ever seen, even unlike a rock concert. Of course, we had Ted Nugent, who's from Michigan, open for him, which was amazing. But when you look around and you see the energy and you see the young people, I mean, there are 20-somethings. Everywhere you look, there's just a sea of 20-somethings. So the energy and the age of the voters that are coming out that have never voted with this kind of enthusiasm before just tells you everything. Because one of our co-founders, and I have to laugh because he has a home in Arizona, he was down there during the last Biden Harris rally, and he drove by and said, I got to be honest, there were about 20 people in attendance. I think there were more Trump supporters waving their signs than there were Biden Harris people there. And then you look at the Trump rallies and you think there is no way they can win unless they plan to steal this election. It's just so clear.
Well, I grew up, I was born in Oklahoma. I moved to Minnesota. And I just remember meeting people and I'm going, how is it that you guys go to a Lutheran church, are conservative in all of your values, but you vote Democrat? And I remember I was 16 years old, and a girl that I was dating at the time, her father explained to me, he said, well, because of the subsidies, we all typically vote Democrat. We just do. We just check the box. That's what we do out here. I know there was a great enthusiasm for President Trump when he won the state of Michigan in 2016. But could you maybe explain, Tammy, on the ground? I mean, how much more is the enthusiasm now than it was in 2016? Is it 10% more? Is it 20? Is it 20 times more? I mean, I'm hearing from family and friends, it's epic.
Way more enthusiasm. Are you kidding me? What we're seeing on the ground and what we hear from the Stand Up Michigan side is we have Democrats that have been lifelong Democrats, staunch Democrats and supporters of Democrat candidates. They've never voted anything but Democrat, that are coming to us and are sharing on our page and are sharing, in some of the freedom events, the protests that we've had, the stories that we're hearing from lifelong Democrats that are deflecting because they feel like, I'm not leaving my party has left me. And then we're seeing the young people, the 20-somethings. Oh, yeah. They are more energized to vote than I have ever seen a group of young people before.
Yeah, I want to add to that. So I guess you could label me as an independent. I have not been a Republican since the RNC screwed over Dr. Ron Paul. And those group of people went from being Republicans to libertarians to independents to following voluntarism. Those are your sleepers. Those are the voters that are not going to admit that they're voting for Trump, but being so scared of Biden. And I have my own show, and we were talking about on my show earlier today that we are seeing Trump is winning the early voting results that are coming in. And we have, I think it's a 300% increase through independent voters so far in Michigan that are more active.
Now, what I'm seeing is it's almost a new political party. We'll call it Republican, but it's more of like a Trumpian for the party. I mean, it's like a Trump-tastic party of people that are being bold. And when I think about people being bold, Kristen, I think of you and Tammy, and I want to get your take on this. A lot of people probably had the thought, self, this probably isn't good. Self, I probably need to collect signatures. James, you're an attorney. You're from Manhattan. You've seen this. Right. A lot of people have said, this probably isn't right. I should probably collect signatures. But you two ladies actually did it. What was the process like, Kristen, going out there and getting 500,000 signatures? Was it easy? Did you work hard? Did you get up early? Did you stay up late? What did you do? Tell us.
Well, actually, I originally, when we first got shut down, we had like 3 different organizations that were formed. While Tammy was working with Stand Up Michigan, I worked with a group called the American Patriot Council. So I was more focused on getting mask mandate rallies and freedom rallies and Second Amendment rallies going, but I've signed every petition in this state. I helped promote the sites. On my end, it was more an administrative role. I helped promote the sites that the signings were at, encourage people to sign all the petitions, but really it was primarily Tammy's team that pushed the, I think you had 60,000
Yes. So let me address that, because my whole summer, and all of the Michiganders that were involved, their whole summers were involved with getting up early, making our little signs and setting up our tables, roadside stands, outside of restaurants, parking lot, rest areas, you name it.
We had sipping signs.
Yeah, we did the sipping signs. We're good at that. But we had all kinds of opportunities and reasons to set up our tables with our cardboard signs that said "Unlock Michigan," end Whitmer's endless shutdown, repeal the 1945 law. You name it, everywhere you went, people were set up all around the state. And we were, yes, it was every weekend at farmers markets. And like I said, in parking lots and rest areas, people were set up all over the state. We had over 60,000 citizens sign up when we gave them an opportunity on our website to activate them, because that was one of our 3 pillars, right? We care for them, we educate the people, and then we activate the people. And we gave them something to do.
Yes.
And we connected them with the Unlock campaign, and 60,000 citizens signed up, and we're circulating the petitions all over the state, and we got it done in record time because of that.
And one thing that was so great is I know in traveling around the state, I met so many people that were elderly or newly retired that never got involved in any sort of activism ever in their entire life. And they became circulators. They had their own little tables out. Even though they may have got 5 signatures, everyone counted.
Yeah.
Grandma and Grandpa
you
were
ladies
fighting
are the
for
best.
the state.
Yeah.
You ladies are the best. Now, we're going to go rapid fire. It's going to be a kind of a virtual town hall here. We're coming in fast. We're coming in hot. We got 4 questions in 4 minutes. I'll go first here, and then Jerome will one-up me, and then Andrew will one-up him, and then James will one-up him. But we're going to come in fast for 4 furious questions. This first one's directed for Tammy, okay?
Okay.
What do you want our listeners to do, Tammy? How can we help you? What can our listeners do to support the great efforts that you're putting into this? It's bigger than helping just Michigan, but we want to help you. What can we do?
So Stand Up Michigan is focused on going Stand Up America. We have already bought the domain, and we are already focused on states outside of Michigan. We're working with Colorado, New Mexico, several states on the East Coast, Arizona. And what I'm telling people is you cannot just succumb to the pressure. I know it gets heavy. I know it gets tiring, but you've got to continue to stand up. If we do not fight the tyranny right now, you will have nothing to fight for tomorrow. So reach out to us, because we are branching out, and we are taking the process that we have developed and we have discovered that's very successful, and we are helping other groups in other states to do the same thing.
I will say this too on air. I don't mind saying this, and then if you want to reach out to me off air, Dr. Zellner and I, we've tried to put our money where our mouth is by supporting Pastor Brian Gibson with Peaceably Gather. He's on Fox News a lot. Sean Foyt, the long-haired praise and worship musician you see on Fox a lot. Dr. Richard Bartlett, the medical doctor that's treated over 1,000 patients with no fatalities, over 1,000 COVID-19 patients with 0 deaths. And we happen to own one of the largest marketing companies in Oklahoma. And pro bono, free of charge. You guys have my phone number. You can call me anytime. If we can help you with web or video production, whatever we can do, we're here to help you, and I mean that. So just feel free to text me afterwards if we can help you. Jerome, what question would you have here for these incredible guests here, either Tammy or Kristen?
Yeah, I have a real simple question. Does 8645 mean something different in Michigan than it does here?
That question being directed at Kristen.
Well, no, I worked in the food industry when I was a teenager, and 86 meant we're out of something. Get it out of here. So, I mean, photoshopped or not, that clearly says let's get 45 out. You know, let's get Trump out of here. Violent or not, it was clear. It was a dig at the president.
Andrew, you've had, these ladies are. I mean, I'm nervous. You're around greatness, you get nervous.
By the way, I lived in Oklahoma City for 5 years, so
really?
I feel you on the whole Democratic issue.
This is how I sound internally on today's show. I'm so nervous. On today's show, we're interviewing ladies that are intimidating. Andrew, back to you. I mean, I'm just working through it right now. I feel like Garth from Wayne's World. Hey, Wayne.
You should hear us at school board meetings.
These are heroes right here, Andrew. I'm afraid. Andrew, what questions would you have for Tammy or Kristen?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same as Clay's question. What can we do down here, whether it's in Oklahoma, whether it's in another state, wherever people are at? How can we help? What can we do to help?
I would say just really fully recognize that people often think like, I don't need to do anything. My neighbor will do it for me. And every single voice counts.
Yes.
Some of the biggest movements that have occurred in our state happened by just one person with no background in law or freedom fighting. They just got fed up. Businesses can stand up. Just stop, especially if you have mask mandates. You have constitutional rights, and you have a right to fight against things that are unhealthy for your body. And you just one person. Start going to stores with 50 people without masks. Start doing things in numbers and start speaking up, and let your state legislators know you will vote them out if they don't start allowing you to live free.
And let me just add to that, because at Stand Up Michigan, we have coined a phrase that says the power of one can lead to the power of many. And it took one person to be brave enough to start a Facebook page, and within a week, it became 400,000 people and a movement.
What's your
took our
website?
power back.
What's your website, ladies, that we can go to? Tammy, what website do you want us to go to?
It's standupmichigan.com.
And the
Now,
new
Kristen and I
website?
we have our own pages and our own things as well, but that's the Stand Up Michigan page.
And mine is realdealmedia.com. That's a media show that I'm a part of.
Realdealmedia.com. That's realdealmedia.com. And you said you're building the domain standupamerica.com, or when can we expect to see that?
Well, we will. We have not gone there yet, but we have purchased the domain for every single state for Stand Up. So eventually that's where we're going. That's our goal.
Oh, you're great Americans. Okay. James, you're from the lockdown state of New York, where
Yes,
30 what percentage of restaurants or businesses are just forever gone at this point? I mean, they went into bankruptcy,
Well, yeah,
they're
the
shut
New
down.
York Post reported in July that a third of New York City's small businesses may never reopen, and that's about 70 or 80,000 small businesses that may never reopen.
And this just
because
in.
There's like 240,000.
That's messed up. 240,000 businesses.
Yep, and I'm
shut down.
My friends are still there, and they're telling me that places are shutting down still. Left
Okay,
and
well, now
right,
listen.
all that stuff.
Your
Oh,
friends
so
are
it's
probably great
positive.
people, but these ladies are fighters. These are like Viking women. It's like the beautiful Viking women. They could.
Oh, can you see my chest hair? I'm sorry.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Even through the Zoom, I feel like they could stab me with a spear at any point here. They're incredible ladies, Viking women. What question would you have, James, there for our two incredible guests, Tammy Clark and Kristen Meghan?
Are you finding less resistance now, more resistance? And if you're finding it, what do you do when you find it?
That's a good question. There
That's
are
three
some
questions.
businesses. So that's a great question, because what has happened is that people in the United States have been so socially conditioned through psychological warfare. Let's make no bones about it.
Yep.
That is what has happened. People have been so socially conditioned that they are married to their mask. They're terrified. They think, oh my gosh, if you take the mask off, you're going to die. You're going to kill grandma. You're so irresponsible. It has become the latest virtue signaling, right? Tool mechanism. And so people are embracing the mask as a symbol of virtue. And so there is still a lot of resistance to taking the mask off, even though there is no state of emergency technically in the state of Michigan, and all the governor's executive orders have gone away. However, now the health department has stepped in, and now they're saying all the same things. And so there is probably 20% of the businesses that I'm seeing who have taken the signs off their doors. And they're completely mask free. They recognize there are no more legalities behind this. The health department, by the way, in the state of Michigan that has issued these mask mandates is doing so illegally. They have no jurisdiction over masks, and they have no authority to enforce or fine. But people are scared, and they've been so socially conditioned that they're just going along with it anyway. So Kristen and I have been working very hard since this happened to educate people and to educate business owners. You do not need to wear the mask anymore. It's unsafe, it's unhealthy, and it's not a legally enforceable law. Take the mask off.
And I think what happened too is when we stated that the Supreme Court shut down our governor's executive orders for a Friday through Monday morning, Michiganders felt free. They felt recharged. It was like that sigh of relief when you're waiting for like bad test results. And then we turn around and had our, like I said, our public health department just put everything back. And I think that got the people of this state to say, you know what? No, I'm done following your rules. I know when I go to gas stations, I have a medical exemption, but I haven't worn a mask since March. I'm not going to wear a mask because I know it causes harm.
There we go.
Oh, you ladies are an inspirational duo.
Neither of us have ever worn a mask. Don't wear a mask, won't wear a mask.
Mascara is about as close as I'm going to get.
Oh, yes. You two are American heroes. I'll give you the mic. First, we'll go with Tammy, then Kristen. What do you want to share with our listeners? Any final word you want to say with the listeners?
Yeah, I would just encourage all the business owners out there, because I have been a business owner for many years, And a lot of this rests on the shoulders of the business owners, because all of their employees and all of their customers, this is where we are continuing to keep that mask mandate up, right?
Yep.
So I want to speak to the business owners out there, because you guys are the ones that are the key to unlocking this country. Business owners, stop being afraid of the mask mandates. We have found out in Michigan, if you guys remember, America's Barber, Carl the Barber, right?
Carl the Barber.
He's from Michigan.
Oh.
He was a business owner like me who said, how dare you try to shut me down? I have a constitutional right to run my business, feed my family, and pay my employees. I'm not going to go along with it. Carl said the same thing. So our governor weaponized her attorney general to come after him, and he flat out refused, went all through the courts, and he won. Nobody can take away your business license except for the state licensing boards, and that can only happen in certain cases. So Carl fought, he won his case. So we now have legal case precedent that it is illegal to try to take away a business owner's license. And I know that these cases are happening around the country, because Kristen and I get hundreds of emails from people all over the country and all over the world, really, on a weekly basis. But my message would be to business owners, stand up, just say no. Don't force those masks on your employees or your customers, because you are the key to unlocking your state and your country. And yes, you may have to go to court. Guess what? I'm involved in a court case. Kristen's involved in a court case.
That's good
We're
times.
not afraid.
Well, you know what?
Bring
If
it on.
if you're a business owner and you've had any success at all, I mean, I've been self-employed since I was 16 years old. You're going to have some adversity. I mean, just you're used to it. So just get used to it again. And some people have had it really good under Trump. We've had 3 excellent years, and so people have gotten kind of comfortable. They've kind of gotten to a place where they're going, I'd hate to risk it. Well, let me tell you what, the riskiest thing you can do is to do nothing. And I just encourage everybody to heed the encouragement of these 2 American heroes. It's Kristen, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I would just say, in speaking to the court case issue, sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself, do fundraising, find a pro bono attorney. You just need one lawsuit that sets case precedents to propel yourself into liberating your states in a very peaceful manner. I just think it's also important to understand that people that are in the career field, like Tammy and I, we are the mask experts. We are a very small career field. We are the court credential experts.
True.
Not doctors, not virologists. No, I do understand that some MDs are speaking out, and the reason they're speaking out is because those MDs recognize, and they'll even sometimes name drop us or our career fields and say, these people train us on how to use masks. This is how we know they don't work. So I know that we've been trained as a society to just believe everything white coats say, but I need people to recognize that Dr. Fauci, hopefully he's, he looks like Mel Brooks. He's probably filming Spaceballs 3. But anyway,
right.
People need to understand the limitations of each profession. And I don't go out of my lane. I only speak to what I know about. I have 4 degrees, 18 years experience, and I will do nothing but promote health and safety. And that's why you should really listen to those of us in our career field who have been studying masks for almost 20 years.
I would take both of your advice on eyebrows. I would, if you were giving advice on that too.
Get them microbladed.
Unbelievable. Great eyebrows, great American heroes. Thank you 2 for being here with us.
Thank you.
I just appreciate your boldness, and we are praying for you here, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I know all the Thrive Nation. There's about 500,000 of them listening to the show. They're encouraging. I know their thoughts are with you. And I would just say, Thrive Nation, pray for these 2 women. I pray for these women, and get out there and fight against these mandates. And thank you, both of you, too. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been a pleasure.
Have a great day. And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!
If you don't understand you're the one, you won't understand why you're being attacked like you're being attacked. Whenever the enemy knows that the one is coming, he always sets traps to stop them from succeeding because they're the one. And to him whom much is given, much is required. And so the text starts out talking about Abraham because Abraham is the one. And Abraham had to move out from his country and away from his kindred because he was the one. So he was a misfit because he was the one. So he didn't get to stay because he was the one. So he had to live in isolation because he was the one. So he probably was lonely because he was the one. Because he was the one. Because he was the one.
New city, new state, it's gonna be a mean race. All the sins that I have done, I'm grateful for a clean slate. Felt like I was different, I ain't never tried to prove it though. Stack your chips, get on your grind, don't never make excuses, bro. Solid as a rock, loyalty is all I ever know. Doing what you've always done, then homie, you can never grow. Conversations with the Lord are asking would I ever blow. Told me I got dead weight, so friends, I gotta let them go. We gon' make it. I know that they hating, it's all on their faces. We destined for greatness. I said I've been patient. I know it's my moment, no stopping, we going. This thing is in motion. What you gon' do when your back's against the wall? You gon' stand up like a champ or you gon' curl up in the ball? I'm the one, I've been chosen, so I'm riding through it all. Gotta keep your faith up so you can rise and never fall. Let's go.
And Abraham had to move out from his country and away from his kindred because he was the one. So he didn't get to stay with his kinfolks because he was the one. They are always on the hit list because hell knows that he is the one. I want to talk to some people that have been up under crazy attack. And to him whom much is given, much is required.
The devil's been attacking, I ain't stressing from it. Cause every time that happens, there's a blessing coming. Obsessing over problems that you can't change. I have you going crazy, learn your lesson from it. Remember when they cut my water off, homie? Man, reflecting how they cut my lights off too. Dog, I had to move back in with my mama. Had me feeling like a failure, that's what life would do. Gotta get up on your grind, I had to make the right move. Ramen noodles every night, I had some beans and rice too. Execution is the key, don't tell me what you might do. Favor from the man above, no other God is like you. You can knock me down, but I promise I ain't staying there. Feeling like I am the one, we just begun, let's make it clear. Me and Clay clicking up, y'all don't even get it, bruh. About to be colossal, taking over when we rip it up, hey.
And Abraham had to move out from his country and away from his kindred because he was the one. So he didn't get to stay with his kinfolks because he was the one. They are always on the hit list because hell knows that he is the one. I want to talk to some people that have been up under crazy attack. And to him whom much is given, much is required.
Yeah, started from the bottom, now I'm here. Hoping that success after 23 years. Got the dragon energy, got another gear. Got a superpower, man, I call persevere. Cause I never have it thought people call fear. I never stop writing when the future's not clear. We're gonna be dead soon and I'm just being real. So I'll be paralyzed by the thoughts that we feel.
So you'll stop begging for people to come into agreement with you. So you'll stop doing polls and census and trying to get everybody to come into consensus with your vision so that you won't need nobody to say amen when you preach because you already know that you got heaven saying amen. The power of one.
Listen to the entire T.D. Jakes sermon, Grasping the Moment, by visiting T.D. Jakes' YouTube channel, simply named T.D. Jakes.
Shout